Real prison escapes caught on camera. Prison escapes in real life resemble scenes from a thriller movie, but they do happen. There has been a slew of films about prison escapes, all of which seem both adventurous and impressive. However, attempting such a feat in real life seems extremely impractical. But a man will do anything to survive and gain freedom. Criminals have been attempting to flee prisons since they were incarcerated. Many jailbreaks end in failure, but this isn't always the case. They happen even more often in the real world than you would expect. It is clear how far some people are willing to go to experience the sweet taste of fresh air. Fortunately for us, the majority of them fail, but the few genuinely committed criminals who are willing to put their lives on the line succeed spectacularly. We're going to show you the most amazing, daring, and absurd jailbreaks ever captured on camera in today's video. But before we get into the video, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications of the interesting videos we upload regularly. So without further ado, let's jump into the details. Number 1. The bulldozer attack. 12 inmates fled from jail in Copenhagen in 1995. They didn't have to put in any effort or use their intellect. The massive building machine completely demolished the reinforced prison wall. 3 of them, as well as a camera operator filming the video, were apprehended almost instantly. According to police, the recording crew was aware of the imminent escape but failed to alert law enforcement. According to the police, the inmates fled to watch a football game at a nearby stadium. However, only 3 people were apprehended, while the others managed to flee and were not identified until today. Number 2. The helicopter escape. 2 inmates were able to flee the facility with the assistance of a helicopter that landed on the roof. Both of them attempted to board the helicopter but were unable to do so for some reason, so they simply held onto the helicopter's rope as it flew away. After a few hours, the helicopter was discovered and the suspects were apprehended once again. Number 3. Acting fast. Often, all it takes to get away is to be fast and decisive. This video was shot in a police prison garage as officers were transporting Michael Oliver, an inmate. Michael had attempted to flee many times before but had never succeeded. This time, however, fortune was on his side. Officers requested assistance from the prison staff with the move, but no one was available at the time. Michael waited until the garage door was about to close before getting out of the car and escaping through the closing garage door, leaving the cops trapped in the garage. The police officers attempted to unlock the door, but it took a long time for them to do so. When they opened the door, Michael was long gone, and they couldn't locate him even after a 2-hour search. He was apprehended the next day with the help of a local who had seen it on the television and reported it to the police after seeing someone who looked like Michael in a house near him. Number 4. Through the window. Derek Estelle, a 34-year-old man who was apprehended for car hijacking, managed to flee through a small window. It didn't seem that he would be able to get through the doors, but he managed to do so. None of the guards were able to respond in time, and he was able to make a quick escape, never to be found again. Number 5. Handcuff lady. It is almost impossible for a regular person to free himself from handcuffs without assistance. Rachel was arrested for robbery and held in a holding cell to be interrogated. When the girl managed to get her thin wrists out of the handcuffs and make her escape, she was left with a mobile phone to call her lawyer. The police believed that the handcuffs were tight enough, but Rachel, who weighed just 46 kilograms, managed to flee. She was, however, foolish enough to return to the same hotel where she had been arrested. The hotel workers called the cops once again, and she was arrested once more. Number 6. Detailed planning. 3 convicts in a California prison used a cell phone to film their escape attempt. They also documented the details of their escape plan. The 20-minute video told the tale of one of the fugitives, who described how they pulled it off in great detail, even mentioning Houdini and his famous escape tricks. To flee, they used strong ropes, tools, clothing, shoes, and other objects. They had to cut the metal ventilator grill in order to get away, and they accessed the building's water supply and then scrambled out onto the roof to flee. They lived underground for a week before being apprehended by the cops. Number 7. An escape for the history books. The Clinton Correctional Facility was dubbed impenetrable because no one had ever been able to escape. Then, 2 inmates set a new record by escaping from the jail using power tools to hack numerous holes in the walls and navigate their way to freedom. They made their way out of the underground pipes. Guards and other security personnel were unaware of the escape until the next morning, and they had no idea how these 2 got their hands on those tools. Number 8. Disguising. Rodrigo de Santos, a Mexican cartel member, disguised himself as his 19-year-old daughter in order to flee the jail. When the guard suspected something fishy, he was dressed in her clothes and trying to get away. It was discovered that the person in question was not Santos' daughter, but himself. He left his daughter in prison instead of him. He was put under close surveillance after he was apprehended, as this was his 3rd attempt to flee the jail, all of which were apparently unsuccessful. Number 9. Thin Man. A prisoner was able to break free and exit his cell through the food window. Yes, you heard that correctly, he exited through the food slot. The inmate was very frail, but he managed to get his body out of that tiny window. He then quietly wore his clothes in the hallway and walked out without being noticed, never to be seen again. Number 10. Courtroom Escape. The inmates were about to be returned to jail after the trial was finished. The inmate eluded the police officer and exited the courtroom through the back door. He tried to conceal his handcuff with the prison shirt before ditching his prison clothes and shoes one by one down the corridor. He managed to get away until the next day, when he was apprehended after police were tipped off by an anonymous source about his location.